So, I used to be a high school teacher, well before I worked in government. I taught high school math in Washington, D.C. Let's just say it didn't last long. The toughest job I ever had, and I've had some crazy, stressful work situations in my career. But teaching in D.C. started out like one of those heartwarming high school movies. I was that bright-eyed, young teacher coming into one of the roughest schools in the city. Metal detectors at the school entrance before that was even really a big thing. Ankle bracelets, and I don't mean for fashion. But I wasn't fazed. DC had nothing on Detroit. But the Detroit pedigree meant little to my students. Most didn't take this MIT math whiz, that's how the principal introduced me, seriously at all. Yeah, I loved math puzzles and brain teasers. I'd start every class with a quick 5-minute puzzle. I called it math wizardry. This was during the Harry Potter heyday. I'd give a small prize to the student who would figure out the puzzle first. They said it was corny. They wouldn't humor me. These kids had seen all types of teachers, and I had heard the stories of the folks before me. Like a retired lieutenant colonel who had led men in battle, a former police officer who was living out The Wire Season 4. There was a committed evangelical who did missionary work in Uganda, and a daishiki-wearing Afrocentrist who gave students Swahili nicknames. None of them lasted more than a year, and neither did I. I was my own undoing, I guess. The first semester, I failed 16 students out of 70. I know some would say that's a big number, 23% of my students. Administrators had suggested 15% as a maximum failing rate. But arbitrarily imposed quotas meant nothing to me. I was a math teacher, a precise one at that. Pre-calculus, algebra 2, it's all in the numbers. It's black and white. The numbers don't lie. Grading is clear-cut, I thought. Like the solutions to mathematical problems. You score enough points, you pass. You score too few, you fail. Plus, I established a system at the beginning of the semester for students and parents to keep track of their standing in class. Procedure number 1, all homework assignments must be signed every night by a parent. "Huh, Mr. Lincoln, what you think we are, elementary students?" They responded. "Do your homework then," I thought. Procedure number 2, every student will be given an assignment log every 2 weeks. You keep track of your assignments by writing them down on your log. I collect the log periodically and score it based on the number of completed assignments. You will keep it for your records and give it to your parents to sign. "Man, why we gotta do all that, Lincoln? You pressed," they said, using the DC slang term that was new to me. Pressed, extremely pushy, overly attentive to detail and accountability. Yeah, I was pressed. Procedure number 3. Parents will receive an email alert when you have so many missed assignments or a low score on a quiz. "Shoot, my mama don't want to get all your emails." "Make sure I don't need to send any," I responded. I worked like the dickens to give the kids the best learning experience I could muster. I poured my mind and heart into the work. Failing a student is often a hard call, but teachers are umpires by description, referees by circumstance. They're accountants by practice and auditors by responsibility, especially during grading period. And I had to make tough decisions, so I failed folks. A passing grade at the school was officially 61%. Some students scored in the 30s. 38% fail. 45% fail. 52 fail. 58.8 fail. If I tallied all your scores and the calculation didn't derive a figure that reminded me of a realistic age of retirement, you were failing. But I know what you're thinking. Jabbari, maybe you weren't a good teacher. I will admit that a common refrain I heard in my first few weeks was, "Man, you don't know how to teach." Students say a lot of things. You take it with a grain of salt. But you also realize there could be a grain of truth. So I would go back and make adjustments to my lessons. I would stay after school to answer questions. I would give second chances and make up assignments. And when things looked bleak, to help the ones in danger of failing, I made it about the numbers. "Look, y'all," I told them. "Here's the cutoff for passing." I pointed at a figure on the board. "You just have to get to that number to pass. I'll provide you some extra assignments with review work. Just turn in the work, show some effort. Ask me if you get stuck. I'm here to help you get it. Work with me, and I'll work with you." Some took advantage of it, others brushed it off, and those others failed. I can do a lot of things, but I can't turn a 38 into a 61. The numbers don't lie. So when the numbers were calculated and I submitted the grades into the system, I got called into the principal's office. And my principal wasn't calling me a math whiz then. "So here's what we're going to do, Mr. Lincoln," she started. "There's this thing called a curve." A curve. A curve, I thought. A mockery of numbers. A problem of pretentious probability. Lies, damn lies, and statistics. I wanted nothing to do with skewed numbers. My own parents were inspired by the elegant equality within the operation of numbers when they gave me the name Jabbari. I was named for algebra. The word algebra comes from the Arabic term al-jabr, which basically means the reunion of broken parts, completing, a way of balancing. The word is in the title of a pioneering book on what would later be called algebraic equations by the 9th century Persian polymath al-Khwarizmi, the inventor of algebra. Math was about completing, reuniting, balancing. I could deal with curves in math, but not in grading. So I didn't make it another semester. The school still exists, and the principal is still there. Did I curve the grades and submit? Or did I stick to my guns, insubordinate? That's a puzzle I'll let you answer for yourself. Signing off, Jabbari Lincoln, Pressed.